said little to nothing in 4.5 hours. And I'm saying this against the backdrop of what happens in other parliaments. Madam Speaker, in Trinidad, in Jamaica, the finance minister takes certainly less than 1.5 hours to present his budget. In the United Kingdom, maximum 1.5 hours. In the US, Madam Speaker, the State of the Art, or State of the Union address, Madam Speaker, 45 minutes. And here's a situation in which the member for Rowleys took 4.5 hours, Madam Speaker, of our precious time, and at the end of the day, said little to nothing. But, Madam Speaker, what the member skillfully sought to do, and let me also say this to the public, that at the end of the day, we should not judge our politicians, or certainly ministers, based on their articulations. I would say that the member is certainly very articulate. We must judge them, Madam Speaker, based on their competence, based on what they have delivered, not on what they have promised. Anyone can promise anything at any time. But what the members sought to do, Madam Speaker, was to appropriate praise for the strong economy unto himself and to the UPP government. And, Madam Speaker, I will indicate to this Honourable House, or prove to this Honourable House and the public in general, that the Antiguan economy was extremely sound. An economy that was built not on sand, as asserted by the member for St. Mary's South, Madam Speaker, but one that was built on steel. Steel, Madam Speaker, not rocks. Steel. Because if at the end of the day, Madam Speaker, that the economy was not so strong, you can rest assured that the UPP government, with their draconian policies, would have destroyed the economy of this country. And, Madam Speaker, as I reflect on all of the fluff in the budget, as I reflect on the draconian taxes that have been introduced, Madam Speaker, it suggests to me that the policies, Madam Speaker, of the Minister of Finance are essentially those of an egotistical lunatic, Madam Speaker. And let me make it abundantly clear.
You don't need to go there.
Madam Speaker,
you don't need to
Madam
go
Speaker,
there.
This is figuratively speaking. I said the policies, Madam Speaker.
You don't need to go there.
Madam Speaker, you are a linguist and you understand the use of similes and certainly metaphors. And it is perfectly acceptable, Madam Speaker, to refer to the policies of the honourable member to be like those of an egotistical lunatic.
No, it's not acceptable.
Madam Speaker,
to go there.
I will move right along anyway, but I am sure that I would have made a clarification. But I'm moving right along. I recognize that, the last time you made a bad call, Madam Speaker. We're notwithstanding that, we're moving right along. Madam Speaker, there are a number of macroeconomic variables. And before I move on to that, I should add here that I will never ever use the member's illness against him. But again, moving right along, Madam Speaker, I would like to refer to a number of macroeconomic variables, Madam Speaker: inflation, unemployment, GDP growth, per capita income, interest rates, to prove to this honourable House and to prove to the nation, Madam Speaker, that the Antiguan economy was the strongest, as I said earlier, in the OECS and one of the strongest of all developing countries in this hemisphere. Now, Madam Speaker, the 2007 budget projected inflation to be at 2.5% for 2007. And I would accept that 2.5% is certainly acceptable. But, Madam Speaker, the Antigua Labour Party government over the years have actually presided over inflation rates that were much lower than 2.5%. In fact, Madam Speaker, when I get to the first chart, you will see that inflation under the Antigua Labour Party back in 1997 was as low as 0.25%. So that this is not a major achievement, Madam Speaker. These are things that the Antigua Labour Party government did, routinely, Madam Speaker. And I will also show too that inflation under the Antigua Labour Party was extremely stable compared to other OECS countries, Madam Speaker. Now, Madam Speaker,